Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. In Ask BR this week, we are going to be talking about Oththa Seruppu size 7 and Kaappaan. Mimicry Maran 1340 says, Oththa Seruppu size 7 is a monologue film based upon a character's descriptive imagination. Is Tamil cinema ready to have a monologue film? Instead of asking if Tamil cinema is ready to have a monologue film, why don't we ask if we are ready to go to a theatre to watch a monologue film? Because 90% of the people are, when they see a film like this, or RDA or whatever, they say, எனக்கு இந்த படம் பார்க்கணும், but I'll wait for it to come on Amazon or Netflix or whatever, which means that the theatrical revenues of these films is not going to be much. So why not give it a chance? Then we'll find out if Tamil cinema is ready or not, because only if people go to the theatres like the film, dislike the film, that is a completely different thing. But if you don't even go to the theatre, how will we ever find out if an industry is ready for a movie or not? Because the film is automatically not going to do well, and then we'll say we are not ready for this. But are we not ready because we are truly not ready for the cinematic level of the film? Or are we not ready because nobody's showing up in the theatre hoping that Adhe padam vandu let's watch in Netflix or Amazon? Something to think about. Viswanathan Kalanram says, Kaappaan looked like a mashup of all previous KV Anand films, from Iron to Kavan. Although the facts about Locust are given accurately, it didn't cohere into a good screenplay. What could be the reason? Because it's not a good screenplay. See, I don't have a problem with this dude being an organic farmer, but organic farming ko SPG ko there's this much of a distance. A screenplay has to bridge that distance. You can't just randomly show one scene is this, one scene is this, and suddenly try to kind of, so there's no connection at all. What is this like? Okay, at least have a double role then. Make a double role Surya where one guy is an organic farmer and one guy is an SPG agent or whatever it is. But for this to happen, like there's so many scenes where the audience is taken for granted in such a stupid way. See, let's talk about that Kashmir scene, right, where Mohanlal goes to Kashmir just before the interval. First of all, that bag is lying unattended on the stage. Even in an airport, if there's an unattended bag, they will look at the bag and say, okay, it's suspicion, they'll bring somebody to look at it. This is the Prime Minister of India in the most volatile state in the country, and there's an unattended bag lying like on a stage where he's going, and then it gets even better. See, if anybody senses a threat to a Prime Minister, the first thing they will do is take the Prime Minister away to safety and then look at killing whoever or who's around and examine all those other things. Here, Surya and the others are just randomly looking around, not knowing where the threat is coming from. The Prime Minister is right there in the open. I mean, this is very bad writing. So now I'll tell you something. There's a great film with Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich called In the Line of Fire. It's a 1993-1994 type film. It's basically about Clint Eastwood assigned to protect the president and John Malkovich being a terrorist saying that I'm going to kill the president or whatever it is. I don't remember it exactly, but I remember like really being very impressed with the film. All I'm saying is take the rights of the film or do it the way we usually do, whatever it is. You have a format. Now in that you masala fight a bit. So at least you have a general structure onto which you have to put something. Now you're just giving me all these random things here, there, locus, this, that. My God, it's just such a mess. Mohanlal says, I think it's high time for a few directors to work on full bound scripts. Absolutely. See, the thing is, I mean, even if it's a bound script, I think what happens is they kind of think that, oh, in the audience ki idu venu, and the audience ka idu venu, and things like that, and they try to spread the thing. For instance, like why do we even need that Prime Minister's wife character? And also, like, it's not enough to have a bound script. The screenplay should work. So I'll tell you a crucial thing which some of you might not want to listen if you care about spoilers and things like that. There is a whole scene in the end where we are supposed to think the Sayyeshaa character may be a terrorist or something like that, that we are suspecting her. Now, if you want to suspect her and the motive being that the Prime Minister allowed her father to die, so she wants to kill the Prime Minister, you have to make that moment, that emotion register really well. Not at the beginning of a 3-hour film after which everybody forgets that her father died. You have to make that the driving force of a character. Make her emotionally impacted by that thing that her father died, that something has affected her, that she has changed. Instead, you're showing her like this loose like going around, and suddenly at the end, you're bringing in something about her father being dead. This is not dependent on whether it's a bound script or not. This is dependent on basic screenwriting. Krishna Kumar Verma says, do you think it's so bad that they wrote in someone of the caliber of Mohanlal just for the sake of it and never utilized the actor in him? I think that's okay, no, because the thing is, a lot of films get big stars for just for the sake of a star value. If Mohanlal's films itself, not every film has utilized the actor in them. So I think that's okay. The crime is that the role was so badly written. And also, why is it that mainstream directors and Tamil DJs feel that the hero needs to give lectures about something? I really don't know. Because, see, in MGR movies, he genuinely was building towards a career that involved the payoffs of these lectures. Why these people should give lectures, I don't understand. What has organic farming got to do with Kaappaan? It's so ridiculous, because I'm saying make that organic farming movie. Make it about that. Make it about a guy who uses, I don't know, earthworms to kill a terrorist. I know it's a bad screenplay, but it's still better than Kaappaan, okay? Whatever it is, but you make it at least somewhat connected to the thing. Here it's not connected. Aditya Narayan says, how different would Oththa Seruppu have been had it been shot in the normal manner? Do you think it would garner same attention? I don't know, because it's not. What makes this movie different is this whole thing about one guy imagining, or rather dramatizing things in his head, and to us, the audience. Had it been shot the normal way, I think it would have become just another crime thriller. I don't think it would have been this kind of a special movie. And what do you think about Parthipan constantly breaking the fourth wall? I thought it was very interesting, because it basically breaks the fourth wall and makes the movie like a stage play. There are so many pointers towards the film being a kind of a stage drama, and I really enjoyed that touch, because it made it very different from a usual film. Is it a realistic touch? No, but it's a very interesting and entertaining touch, I thought. Narendra Kumandan says, how do you feel OS is different in comparison to other movies having a single actor that came before this? The fact that there are other actors in the same room, that there are other people in the same room. In the earlier single actor films, there was just this one person. The other people came in memories or something like that. Here, actually, physically in the same room, there are other people, and the camera is assuming the point of view of these various other people. So that's what's interesting and different from the earlier one-person movies to Oththa Seruppu. Raghu Ram says, what's your opinion on the box office? Good film like Oththa Seruppu doesn't get screens, but Kaappaan like Mass Masala gets screens, and even if it hasn't advertised. But that's the nature of the business. No? See, Surya is a big star, KV Anand is a big director. People will bet on that being the big draw for the weekend, no? As opposed to something like Oththa Seruppu. I don't think people say good film, bad film and all that. It's more like, am I going to be entertained or not? If you're looking purely at the word entertain, then I think Kaappaan, at least from the look of it earlier, before it came out, before the reviews came out, did look like a better bet, and I think that's why it got the screens. And plus Surya is a big star, so normally everybody is going to give him screens. So I don't think that's something that we need to analyze. Johan Sujit says, I feel Kaappaan could have been an interesting watch, but the BGM got me instantly distracted in most scenes. See, BGM and all come much later than here. The basic problem is the screenplay is so bad. It's that nothing ever, whether it had been good BGM, bad BGM, whatever, nothing would have worked. Rahul Sebastian says, in your review, you had contrasted the bombing scenes from Peta and Kaappaan. I've revisited Peta, and yes, I did feel real drama. Can you elaborate how exactly did KS achieve this? Through writing, through characterization, through editing, through cinematography, through the very basics of filmmaking. You look at a frame and you feel the tightness in Peta. Any good filmmaker, forget Karthik Subbaraj, any good filmmaker, you see a frame and you'll see tightness. You'll see a way people and things have been arranged in a frame. Here it is so loose, everything. You remember that first bombing scene where that so-called terrorist kills Sayyesha's father and all that. That looks like an amateur stage play. The overhead shots and things like that and all that. It is so badly staged. I think your eye does not go anywhere. Your emotions are not built because the characters are not clearly defined. So better by that time we're really invested in all these things. So that plus the filmmaking takes us to a realm where we experience a real payoff. Narayana Krishna says, what's your take on Oththa Seruppu? Do you see this kind of mono acting movies coming in the future, and what challenges you see these kind of single actor movie? I don't see many of them coming in the future, because first of all you have to have a proper theme to carry it off, and second thing, you need somebody who really thinks in experiments, because even the Parthipan movies that I don't particularly care for, or that have failed at the box office, they have always been very interesting in terms of how they are conceived and all. He's a very experimental thinker. So unless somebody is like that, you're not going to get a movie like this. And I really don't see this as becoming a very popular genre in Tamil cinema. Though with streaming happening big time and they're needing so much content, maybe somebody will try out experiments like this on the streaming platform, but theatrically I don't think so. Anbanavan says, do you think Oththa Seruppu is worthy of watching at a theatre? I feel it is enough to see a drama kind of movie at TV after it's available OTT. Your thoughts? I just told you my thoughts at the beginning of this episode. I'm taking this question so that I can say it again. See, if everyone is going to say the same thing that okay, this is a small film, either நம்ம வீட்லயே பார்த்துக்கலாம், டிவில வரும், I mean streamingல வரும், this that and all that, then how is the movie going to be viable? See, if you say you like good cinema, you have to go out and pay good cinema. See, cinema is like a democracy, right? You have to vote with your ticket, otherwise you will not get the kind of cinema that you want. So unless you go vote in a theater, you're not going to get it. Then there's no point sitting back and complaining that, you know, we are only taking the same commercial mass movie all the time and all that, because we are not helping these other movies enough in terms of succeeding. So you really have to say, even if you're tired, even if you think you can see it in OTT or something, you have to say, I'm going to go watch it in a theater. Or let me give you a suggestion, at least book a ticket and get that money to the theater, so that you know that at least you can see it later, but it's costing you like 120 $150, whatever it is. Book the damn ticket even if you don't want to go, so that you've done your bit for good cinema. Durga Kalyani says, being a Surya fan, I really felt the film was not up to the mark and it's lengthy as well. Do you think less runtime would have made a better impact? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how much of an impact it made with this, but 165 minutes today, unless you're making some huge epic with multi-character this thing, strands and all that, I really don't think 2 hours and 45 minutes any movie deserves these days. I mean, people have just gone past that. Kiran Kumar says, there was no living being shown in the movie other than Parthipan, not even a cockroach. Cat Kurvi, was it purposely done to prove it's a solo act? That's definitely one thing, but also, you know, he's an unreliable narrator. So everything, there's a nice thing of whether he's acting out or whether it is actually there in the room, whether he's lying or is he imagining, or that adds an extra dimension to the perceived mental stability of the character. So I think that's also a very interesting touch, because when he's talking about the cockroach, is he just like randomly saying cockroach, or is there really a cockroach? You know, that's kind of interesting to know. Of course, with the birds and the cat, the other people also talk about it, so we know. But this adds that element to the fact that this guy is an unreliable narrator. TJ says, Kaappaan is a solid entertainer from start to end, unlike Matran, but why do Tamil filmmakers overload their films with too many plot lines? I think the film would have worked even better as a simple bodyguard of the PM story. Absolutely. The example that I gave earlier of In the Line of Fire, why do you even need the Prime Minister's son? What is he doing in the movie? There's so many things that in this movie that are so random that you just half time, you know, you could have just had the Prime Minister versus the locust guy, and you know, them being the thing. Now there's a second villain. Now that second villain is from within this team. Now to help him, there's a third villain within the team. I mean, like, it's just a complete mess. Pranavan Ramachandran says, I don't have a question, more of a request. Really, could Baradwaj Rangan look into the camera and talk about the plight of farmers continuously for 2 minutes? Cheers. I'll try, because I don't have a dialogue sheet in front of me, so I can't do what the heroes do. But okay, start. It is 5:49 p.m. Okay, start. So yes, the plight of farmers. I think it is very important to talk about things like the plight of farmers. In fact, when I interviewed Manikandan, when I heard the name of his next film, he announced it first on Film Companion, slight plug here. It was called Kadesi Vivasai. I thought that was great, because he is making a movie about a Vivasai, about a farmer. So that's really something you want to do. Now, where my objection is coming about is this kind of filmmaking where farmers are being used to establish that the hero is a good guy or a nice guy, whereas the hero has nothing to do in terms of farming or anything else. That's what's irritating. Now, even there, you can say, let the hero be a farmer. Make him like old MGR movies or whatever it is. Make the one hero be in the Gramam and be a farmer. Do all these great things, earthworms, organic farming, turning shit into manure, whatever it is he wants to do. Let the other guy be this slick city guy you want to show singing in duets in Greenland or whatever it is. That's fine. It's 5:50. So it's still going on. So that's great. It's you know, you still have your farmer thing, you have your other thing also. But to have the same guy linking as what's he, NGK did it nicely. Whatever problems the letter had, it said that this guy believed in organic farming. Something happened to preserve the other organic farmers around him. He went to the councillor or whatever, and that was his first step into politics, and then he got into politics. So there's a clean arc about how this farmer ended up in politics. Now, what I am objecting to is this thing where this farmer randomly says things about farming and suddenly finds himself protecting the Prime Minister. I mean, where is the connection between that? That's like so random. That's what I'm saying. But that apart, I think it is very necessary to have films about the marginalized sections of society. When I say that, I just don't mean in terms of class or caste, but also in terms of the jobs that we don't typically find, the professions that we don't typically find on the big screen. But tell me one thing, there are so many people here itself asking questions about whether or not we will see those movies or wait for it to come on streaming platform. So how will filmmakers make those movies unless we are willing to put our ticket money there and say, go make this film? So it's 5:51 now, and I have spoken about farmers for 2 minutes. I hope that lecture is at an end, and I also think that this episode of Ask BR is at an end. Thank you for watching. Keep asking your questions and keep watching Film Companion South.